Hello, welcome to the I Am Badass podcast. This is Lani, and today I have my amazing freaking Wonder Woman leader client on. She is called Isa. She's English, and I freaking love her forever. It's just really beautiful to me, and I know when people break through, and this is why my program is so different, is because my clients share and they're happy to share publicly because they were suffering so bad, just like I was, and now they're not. I have full goosebumps. It's goddamn, it's good when you give your own self goosebumps. So we do a full hour and we're dying laughing because it's like, oh, it'll probably take 20 minutes. You know my ass. It took an hour, and we open up about everything. She grew up like in a yoga community. She had access to meditation all day, every day. She did tantric healing. She was in therapy for 10 fucking years. And when she came to me, she had no idea how to get out of her head and into her body. And she was turned away by therapists going, you disembody, and I don't have the tools. And this is what I always say, like, somebody who doesn't know how to get into their body, and it's very easy to decipher. Do they have it all? If they don't have it all physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, then they don't know how. Because I didn't just come in my body and then I'm still freaking suffering physically or financially or spiritually. I learned how to embody, step into my power, and now I have it all because it's one formula and it's not separate. So she said what attracted her to me was, I was like, dude, you have to get in your body. And she'd heard for years, this is your problem, this is your problem. And we have a lot of laughs because we talk about how crazy the old us used to be. She is literally a leader. She came into my program not even being able to, she was just so afraid to be rejected, and my art needs to be perfect and I can't do that. And just at this block of I have to be perfect. I have to serve. I'm not enough. And now she is a leader. She is inspiring women to heal. She has shifted everything. She has healed sexually, spiritually. She has healed the root problems. I'm not enough. And she knows that she is worthy as fuck. She's so proud of herself. I mean, things like, she had the worst acne. She just posted a picture in our group the other day and her face was all red and swollen because I was like, dude, no one's going to believe this. Everyone's going to look at you and be like, oh, you're so beautiful. Your skin's so amazing. Because we love to go, nobody knows what it feels like to have acne. Nobody knows what it feels like to not be able to sleep and have anxiety. Her face literally looks like a beautiful angel, as smooth as can be. Her digestion issues have gone. She always had bloating and stomach pain. She said that she wakes up with a flat stomach and with energy and focus. So I am so excited for you to listen to this. I mean, I had a blast. You're going to love it. If you know that you're actually ready, because this is a big thing, I cannot teach you how to have it all while you want to feel sorry for yourself and blame something or someone for your problems. But if you are a coach and you know that you're a leader, like you were meant to be in this world to lead and teach and heal, and you are actively coaching, you have clients, this is your business, you've been doing it for a long time, but you cannot do it yourself, then girl, you need to learn. So hit me up. Just go to iam.laninalu.com/strategy. And if you're ready, we can fucking do this. We can do it fast. Within 4 weeks, Isa had broken through shit that she couldn't even touch or get near her whole entire life. It is real. It is simple. It is fun. And it's amazing. All right, let's get started. Hi, beautiful Isa. I swear you literally look like an angel. There's so much golden light around you. Thank you so much for being such a brave, beautiful leader and for sharing your truth, because we both fucking know how much dog shit that we used to eat and how all up in our heads we were and how many excuses. And we have a lot of the similar programs of I have to save and I have to do this and I have to prove and I can't do that. So you and I today are going to talk about the old Isa and the new Isa, because truly full on blossoming, but to be this leader, you're a leader. I was even reading comments on your Facebook post and everyone's like, oh, I've always felt this way about you. So for me, the most incredible thing is to watch you naturally step into something that I knew you were 6 weeks ago. I was like, she's got it. So to just be able to be like, I'm not going to do it for you. You can fucking do it. let's go, and then see you do it is like, I mean, fuck, it's life. It's seriously life. It's just like, it's what gives me breath. So let's start by, you can just tell a little bit about what you do and what your passions are, and then we'll just get right into the old Issa and the new Issa. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, for starters, I look completely different to what I looked like 6 weeks ago. Like, you nailed that. In that first comment, I was just like, oh yeah, I was not glowing. And I was like completely hiding, and I didn't feel beautiful. And now I feel like I'm radiating, and it's so lovely. But yeah, what can I say? So my name's Issa. I'm from London. I'm an artist, specializing in performance art, but I also do painting and writing, and that's what my degree's been in. I'm currently in Sydney, finding my footing as an artist, which was not happening at all 6 weeks ago. Like, I was not sharing my truth, so I was not sharing my art at all.
The old you and the old me is in such a state of perfectionism, in such a state of, we will never make it there. It will never be good enough. I remember, like, you're a big strong one with you was like, the art has to be perfect, therefore like it never makes the cut or even never gets started, because it becomes this like stress thing. It becomes this like it's like I always say that, I'm like, if what you're doing is your passion and you now fucking hate it and dread it and it's miserable, like I was crying before sessions, I would like dry heave like when I was filming, and I was just like, it became my love and the reason I was put on this earth became fucking miserable. And it wasn't because I needed to, like, you know, go talk to the universe and be like, give me new gifts, da 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 da. It was like, I was the fucking problem, my ego, you know, that like that in the head.
Yeah, and also I was making art for like the complete wrong reasons as well, like out of vanity, because like I got like that hit from like people being like, oh, this is great, like you're really talented. And then suddenly I was like, I want to make it from there. And then every single time, if I didn't get like immediate positive feedback, I was like, oh no, I'm the worst, I suck, I've lost all my talents, I have no talent, I can't do it. Like,
dude, I did the same thing. I was just telling Katie that like as soon as I'd book a workshop, if I didn't get like fucking 500 people in it, I'd be like, Chris, cancel it, give them their money back, like I'm not doing it. And then it's like, I was such a fucking psycho. I would check my Instagram post to see like how many people liked it and how many views I got, and it's like, that's not spiritual, bitch. Like, get your fucking shit together. You're like the girl that you're judging who's like doing all these crazy things. Like, I could sure sniff out a woman who was pathetic and was like, how insecure. And then I would go do the same thing, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I know that hit, and it's so wild because it is directly it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you're coaching, if you're acting, if you're an artist, like it's that fucking root of it that like we're trying to go from the outside in.
yes.
Yeah. And so miserable. So I remember we were kind of talking about this before we started recording, that on our strategy session, I was getting clear and remembering back to it. Like, you couldn't even answer the question. I was asking you what you wanted, and I was like, okay, so you're going in circles. So either you like, remember, I was like, so you have the I'm here now, so we can do this now. You can dig deep, but you're literally talking in circles. You're avoiding my questions, and you're not going there. And I can't. I like won't do this. And you like you was quiet on the other side. But it's like, dude, now you are a fucking boss at this. Like I get private messages from people in the group that are doing the same work as about you. Like, that's crazy. Like, my other clients are like, holy fuck, Issa's live when she just totally told her biggest, darkest fears. Like, that's the reality of 6 weeks ago, you couldn't even answer a fucking question. And now you are inspiring leaders, because everyone that comes into my program is a leader. So you're inspiring the leaders to up level. Like, how fucking cool is that?
Yeah, that's insane. That's probably one of the biggest things that I am so grateful to this program for, is because it suddenly just made me think so clearly about what I want and about making decisions. And I suddenly actually have a vision for the future. Whereas before, like when you met me, I was just like chaos and like, oh my God, I'm miserable today. But like, also I'm going to do all these things. Like, I'm going to start 100 million things and put energy everywhere. And I'm going to try and make it better. But like, it was like, none of it was directed. It was all just like, oh my God, I hate my job, but I need to find another like job that makes me loads of money, but it doesn't matter what it is. And then I was just like, actually, bitch, you're going to be so miserable again if you hate your next job,
And
you're going to be like in the exact same position.
We're so confused, and we have these wires crossed that, like, you and I had the same belief. You can't love your job and be rich. That used to totally be one of our beliefs. Like, you have to suffer to be rich. And the other strong one that we had was like this really deep needing, yearning to like help our family. And so we have wires crossed, and it's crystal clear for me when people are coming in, because I'm like, so you think that pain and suffering is love? So that's the program that we need to like break through and heal and create a new belief around what love is, because we're not getting punished, but we are matching everywhere in our life that pain and suffering is love. And then the other one is, I don't deserve to have it all, because when we were rich, we were fucking miserable. And then like we couldn't possibly have it all.
I literally managed to manifest every single version of like any sort of bill or like freak occurrence where like my money would just like hemorrhage out of my bank account, and I'd just be like, well, I never have enough. Like, I need so much because I need it for like all of these eventualities. Right now, it's not just like flying out of the like window.
Totally.
In the same way as like my energy is flying out of the window as well.
Totally. Okay, I love talking about this because we've just had this huge up level. What we see when people get through 6 weeks is the physical manifestations just go out they just heal, because so many women come to me and they're like, I have acne, and it's a fact. They've accepted it. It's basically like, oh, I weigh 60 kilos. I have acne. It's a fact. I can't control it. I can't shift it. So there were so many physical manifestations that people have coming in, and we don't really make this direct connection to, oh my God, that's connected to my program, like to my chaos, to my drama, to my fucking, exhaustion, to being in my head. So let's name the physical manifestations that you came into and then that you healed, and you can kind of like go back and forth. So the old Issa and the new Issa.
Okay, well, I had acne. Like, I had real bad acne.
And no one would believe it, because you literally have the face of an angel. It's like as smooth as a fucking like Da Vinci statue or something. Like literally, like no one will believe it. But they have to hear you say it, because they look at you and they'd be like, no, she's amazing, she's beautiful, I don't believe me. It's like 6 fucking weeks ago, dude.
Yeah, I can send you a gnarly ass picture from like 3 months ago where I'm just like even my whole face is screwed up like this, because I'm like, oh my God,
somebody take me out of this miserable body. I hate it.
Oh my God, because I was so ashamed of who I was. And like, to begin with, I got so many like, over the years, I got so many like chronic illnesses, and it was just like my body screaming at me, like being like, bitch, you're so in your head, like stop thinking, stop fueling all of these like
adrenal
fears and everything. Yeah, I had adrenal fatigue. I had like crazy things where I'd like go like lie in bed and my body would just like jerk, like I was having a seizure, because I just couldn't go to bed, couldn't go to sleep. And well, then like
so much
I would
cortisol and everything like running through.
And I'd go to bed at like 10 p.m. and I'd wake up at 1 a.m. and I'd just be like, well, there's my 3 hours of sleep.
Dude, I did that. That was my fucking exact thing. Like when I just got out of the abusive marriage, I was like would oversleep the fuck out of that, like just sleep all day when I was there. And then as soon as I got out, it was like my 3 hours, and I would wake up like and I'm like, oh, it's 1.
Yeah, exactly. And you wake up like your whole body's just like,
and you hope that it's like, you're like, please be 5, please be 4 even. And you like check the fucking clock and you're just like, oh.
And your heart's beating like this. You're just like, there's no way that I can go back to sleep. Like,
I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do my meditation. Crackhead, like up by myself. Yeah, totally. So for sure. Okay, so the body. So, and belly stuff, digestion
Oh my
stuff.
God, yeah, digestion stuff. I was like really bloated. I had just like, I'd been told my whole life that I was incredibly sensitive. So like my skin was really sensitive and my stomach was really sensitive and that I had lactose intolerance. And
Magda in the group just commented and said my mom would always be like, our digestion is super weak.
Yeah. I was also told that I could never grow my hair long. So right now I'm growing my hair long.
I love it. You're going to have a mane, like a freaking mane nesta soon. Dude, you're going to be like known as like the ponytail and just have this one like down to your ass. It's like so crazy. Okay. And so let's talk about the emotional programs that you came into. So the perfectionist, the I'm not good enough. What else was like constantly running through?
I'm not enough, like total shame about who I was as a person. I was so attached to this idea of like truth, but I could never hit on what my truth was or what the truth around me was. And that was so hard. I constantly felt like I wasn't really, like I would second guess myself all the time and I just didn't trust my own judgment or my own instincts.
Dude, I can relate so hard.
I had them all.
Oh, me too. I was like, oh, really? It's harder for you? Like, let me fucking tell you, dude. I had no sexual energy. Like when I seriously get like people in victim mentality, like no one will take me on because my problems, I'm just like such a hard case. And I was like, okay, give it to me. Because I bet I was fucking 10 times lower and worse than you were. But our woman isn't the one that like claims the victim mentality. Let's just talk a little bit because this is so hilarious. And I love talking about the old us, how like we would have rather fucking died than somebody known that we weren't perfect. So like the inner turmoil that creates when we like just have this like it's an unquenchable like darkness. Like we can never be perfect. So therefore we're just like running ourselves into it. So it's like that it's such a gnarly, and people think that we're born with it, but I'm like, you learned it. So like in the program, I teach you how to unlearn it and create new ones, but talk about that a little bit. Cause I love talking about how crazy the old us was because people think that we're so amazing.
I would do absolutely everything to hide any weakness. But also like I was always just like, and I'd always just be like, oh yeah, but like I'd be like, being vulnerable is being strong. Like I knew that, but like I'd also just be like, oh, here's like a tidbit of information that like I'm not.
I photoshopped. I hid. I PG'd. I totally manicured and.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going on these like huge adventures. Like a big one for me was like whenever I felt like stuck or anything, I'd just be like, all right, well, I'm done here. Like I'm gonna move country now. Like see ya. It was just like it will be great because I'll have a whole new set of friends. I'll meet a whole new set of people. I can be whoever the fuck I want to be. So like, that rabbit hole gets like further and further away because you're just like, well, those people know me pretty well now. And
it's like that quick, ego fix. Like I was always like, oh, the best medicine for a broken heart is traveling. Oh, why? So I can go act like a fucking insecure woman and get attention from men in another country and like act like I'm so confident. I would full on turn into, so one example, we went to Ibiza and I would have to get buzzed first to put my fucking mask on of I am the most confident woman. And I would roll the fuck up to Pasha. I'm sure it's still a club there. There was like 100 euros to get in. And like sweet talk the bouncer and then walk over to the fucking like VIP and make up a name and then like go to the table with the most booze and the most cocaine and like just be this version of a fake version. But I would tell people it's the best healing for the soul. Really? You went and fucking faked everything about that and he was drunk the whole time. And it's like, it's such a cop out. Like healing now, traveling is so beautiful, but we're missing the point. Like food is one of the most beautiful things I give my body. I love it. I nurture it. It's so amazing. I used to use it as a fucking punishment. So we get stuck in, I'm doing, but everyone says travel. Everyone says take risks. Everyone says take action. It's like you're fucking using it as a cop out. Like that's why it's so confusing these days when people are like, I'm doing everything. I'm like, but you fucking hate yourself and you feel worthless inside. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. We have to get to the root.
Yeah. Oh my God. You nailed it with that like traveling thing. Cause you're like doing something great for one evening. Like you're at Passion. You're just like, woo, high as a kite. And you're just like, I'm having the best time. And then you have to yeah, exactly. And then
post it on Instagram.
Come down at some point. And even if you're like not on drugs or anything else, if you're faking it, you're still gonna have a come down the next day.
The come down is the same with like, yeah, that's another thing. It's like, no, but I'm not doing drugs. I'm like, bitch, your come down is the same. As the lies, as the faking. That was such a great way to word it that you just did it. You always have a come down when you're faking.
Oh, and I spent last summer, so European summer this time last year in Portugal. And like I wanted to go there because I wanted to get out of London and I needed a break. And it was a great opportunity for me to be in the sun, like spend some time with myself, think about stuff. And what the hell did I do? Because I was like, my intentions were like, I'm going to wind down. I'm going to learn to slow down. I'm going to like start doing all of these things that I wanted to do. I'm going to make art. I'm going to like meditate. I'm going to do loads of yoga, blah, 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 blah. And what I ended up doing was like drinking beers on the beach for like 3 months. And, coming back like tanned but fucking miserable. And everybody was like, how is Portugal? And I was just like, amazing. Like,
yes!
Amazing.
Oh my God, it was so fuck. I've heard that so many times. Amy, one of the girls in the group, was like, we were talking about this in our strategy session and we talked about this and she was like, well, you're the only one that I'm telling. My last holiday was fucking miserable and like I lied to everybody and told everyone how amazing it was. And so now I know that my old coping mechanisms aren't working anymore because at least I could like get a cocaine hit from there and come back and that shit wasn't working anymore. Because for us, we're these like the action is easy because we want to like prove that we're good enough. But like, so when that doesn't work anymore, and even Katie said this on her video that she posted, she's like, I was a fucking professional violent action taker, but like that shit wasn't working anymore. I had to like just, come home, which is what we do.
Yeah, and you end up like expending so much energy and like totally draining yourself and you're not filling the well. So you don't have that to give. But you're constantly just like, I have a great story actually from Lisbon last year. This was like the epitome of like my shit time. I was like trying so hard. Like my friends came to visit me and it was just like the universe fucking giving me a fucking huge message. It was like, you're in this beautiful place, like your friends are coming to visit, and I was just like caretaking for all of them. Like everybody who came to visit me had like some serious issue, and I ended up like looking after them and like draining, like feeling full super drained and like, yeah, exactly.
Take my energy, please. Yeah, I'm not worthy of it.
And I had a friend who we were out camping in the middle of nowhere, and he woke up the next morning and he was super dehydrated. It was like 45 degrees for a week, and we were camping in this like little tent and we didn't drink enough water. I felt like shit, but he like felt terrible, and we ended up having to call an ambulance for him. And meanwhile, I was like on the phone with these ambulance people trying to speak like shitty broken Portuguese. He was like lying on the grass, like rolling around, like
a full Coachella breakdown.
Yeah, really, really just like, and there's two huge dogs ran up to us and like just wouldn't leave us alone, and we're just like trying to mount him, like all of this. So I was like on the phone trying to give him water, like trying to get these dogs away, and I was just like, what the fuck is my life?
It was like a biblical, there's the locust. The locust.
I know, right? It was like a fucking biblical moment. And the worst part was like, at one point he started getting into so much pain, and I was just like, still just being like, yeah, we're out in the middle of nowhere, but like, let me just kind of describe to you how to get here, kind of thing. And I bend over.
And a fucking,
yeah, exactly. And I bend down to like see if he's okay. And one of these fucking dogs just mounts me from behind and starts fucking the back, like fucking my back. And I was literally just like, if this isn't a clear message, then like I was just like,
I am getting fucked in the ass, literally. By the trauma and my fear of not being enough. That is crazy. I've never heard of like literally like a legitimate like, because you know you always feel like I'm being fucked in the ass. This is fucked up, you know. But
yeah.
like,
But genuinely, like I was just like, if I don't get this fucking message, then like, what the hell has to happen next? Like,
right.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! That is a great story. Oh my god. Okay, so you reached out to me because it was like enough is enough, and you. So tell me what you needed help with, and then let's talk about the new Issa because that's my favorite part.
God, I needed help with everything. Like making decisions was huge. Having any sort of focus. You know, like I couldn't even articulate what my end goal was, but I was just like, I want to be a world famous artist. And then I was just like, but I don't even know what kind of like what my medium is. Like, I don't even know what art I want to make. I kept just like chopping and changing constantly. I was just like, oh, I can paint here because it's easy because I can do that on my own. And like realistically, what I wanted to do was performance stuff, and that requires like more involvement, like space, like more collaboration with people, and that was terrifying to me. Like even asking for help was terrifying, like reaching out to anybody and just being like, hey, I'm here and I'd like to work with you was like, couldn't not do that. Did my way today, so that's exciting. I had such bad creative anxiety that like I had all these ideas and I just couldn't even like get them started. I had this idea for a project and I needed somebody with some technical know-how to help me get this idea off the ground. And like suddenly 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine here and I was like, you know, talking about what I'm interested in, and suddenly was just like, oh, you know, like I want to make this project about hypnagogia. And he was just like, hold up, nobody knows what that is, and I want to make a project about hypnagogia. And I was just like, wait, what? And so we started talking. We both had like similar ideas. He's like very sound based and he's got all of the technical know-how. Thank you.
And the crazy thing is, I'm going to pause you for a second because the way that I have the program is I actually like get you into the healing sessions and then we get you open, and then I'm not making decisions for you. I didn't tell you to go to this guy, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, every woman's like, but I'm blocked, but you're going to tell me what to do. And I'm like, no, I'm going to teach you how the fuck to open and how to get in. So you always know what is truth with conviction. So you wrote this, I feel like it was less than 2 weeks before this happened. So you declared this, You're like, this is my vision. I've always wanted to do this. So I'm like, okay. So you're declaring it. And then all of a fucking sudden, the next thing I'm reading is like, it happened. Exactly what I wrote down. I manifested it. I'm like, it's like so gnarly how like easy and like simple it is when we're not fucking fighting and doing our old shit and trying to save everybody. And my whole philosophy is like, it's so simple. Everything falls into place when we reprogram that root of I'm not worthy of having it all. And that is what no one wants to do. They want to avoid it at all costs. They want to push that under the rug. They want to help everybody and see, I have these clients, I've done these things. It's fine. That's not what it is. I don't need to go there. I can do these for clients. And I'm like, no, your body's shutting down literally. So like you just getting to the root of it has fucking changed there's not one part of your life that hasn't been touched.
No, it's so true. Like everything, my health, like my ability to just like treat myself, all of it. But just going off what you're saying, the beauty of this program is not only A, how simple it is, but it's also B, the fact that you are fucking practical. Like you get us to answer these fucking questions that make us super clear about what it is we want. And that's like something that I've never, like, I was always just like, whoa, big question. Don't want to go there. But like having you be like, oi, what do you want? And like breaking it down and like us doing it over like a couple of weeks and just starting to like really whittle it down and be like, okay, I'm really clear about like my health goals and my career goals and my personal growth goals and all of these things. And you start to think about it as this like large system, and you're like looking at not just like tomorrow, but what you want your life to look like. Because I'm the queen of like, oh yeah, I've gone and done like a 10-day meditation retreat, and like I expected to come out of that just like, ooh, I'm healed now. And like I've been in like therapy for like a decade. I've literally just like re-strengthened all of those like feelings that I was having and like all of those programs because I was just talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, you know? And like
no one gives any
like,
strategies.
Yeah.
That's what, and because I work with this really creative spiritual woman, like you're not going to be attracted to me if you don't understand that we're all one. And if your intention isn't to like lift the frequency of Mother Earth, you're not going to hear me. But our women hear that, and you heard that. And the part that was always missing for me was I was always a pleaser and a straight A student. So if I always did the things, and so when it came to it, and I would do the spiritual work, but no, I know that when I learned how to do a handstand, it's because I had a progression. I was like, okay, so here's the progression. You start in plank, and then when you're not sagging anymore, then you can go to lifting one leg on the wall. And then like I had a progression. But the problem, and I say this every fucking time to my women that come in, they're like, I don't know what it's going to be, but I love that you're like, you have strategies, and it's like 1 + 1 = 2, and you just like say that it's so fucking simple, and you just, because nobody fucking in the spiritual realm can translate that over into real life. Like nobody gives us that progression. I'm like, we need a progression for everything.
I grew up with like all of the spiritual stuff. Like I grew up basically with, I'm not going to call it a yoga cult, but that's the best way of describing it.
Totally. Yes.
And so everybody was like, oh, you know, like transformation, you can completely like change everything about you and about your life. And like everybody's like super floaty and up there, and like meditation. And I'd done tons of meditation, but I hadn't like brought it down into my body, into my life. I hadn't thought about it practically, like, and I'm a dreamer and I don't love the practical stuff. And so that was the first thing that I would always just like procrastinate. Like I'm just like, I don't want to think about those things. Like I don't want to think about, I'm like, I want to do this, but I don't want to think about like,
but I don't want to, but I'm not going to know how. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It never works. It never works out if we don't know how. I've literally, the yoga teachers, and I'll say this because I was one, so I am in that old category, I have never met more insecure. It was this huge fucking jealousy. It's turned into a cult, and it's not because spirituality is bad or yoga is bad. It's because we are in our fucking ego. And if we don't feel like we're good enough, like you said with therapy, all we're doing is perpetuating more out of your body, more out of your control, more like, don't do these things. Like, that, don't learn how to do these things, just do the things. And that doesn't fucking work. If you have, like, it's a tool or it's a weapon. So as leaders and people who are in these, therapists, coaches, it's not very hard to fucking decipher if you're miserable or if you are in your body and you have it all. It's real fucking easy. You're sick all the time. You're miserable. You're exhausted. You're not happy. You fight. You don't have sex. Your sex drive is low, blah, blah, blah. Like, or you feel in control of it and you know how. So for me, this is like what I'm screaming, because there's so many blocks in the spirituality realm of like, oh, but we're not practical, because that's what they tell us. It's like, they say that like that a practical program, like, oh, that's not going to work for you, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I realized that that was always the part that I was missing. Like you, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go with the coach that just like says, let's just like talk about it and let's just talk about it for hours and hours and talk it till it dies. But like, again, I was just strengthening my misery and my negativity. I had no progression. Everything else that I've accomplished in my life, I knew how to do it. From my handstand to like learning how to embody and healing my sexual trauma. There's nothing that's happened by accident or random. I learned how. So why would it be any different? And that's what's missing in the spirituality these days. It's like journal, meditate, do yoga. It never gets past the brainstem. Your body feels fear. You're having these random, unknown chronic diseases. Like, your body is in fucking fight or flight, dude.
Yeah, totally. And I came into this program having been told for years by therapists that like, oh, your problem is that you disembody. Like, I was told that that's my, like, when shit gets real tough, that's how I deal. And nobody was like, dude, that's bad. They were just like, that's what you do. And then it was like, let's discuss. And I was like, well, I don't know that I do that. You've just told me that I do that. And I also don't know how to fix that if I need to fix that. And I had like a few therapists just being like, I can't help you. Like, I can't work with you because your problem is that you disembody and I just don't have the tools. And I was just like, okay.
Don't you know, though, that because that's what we do on the first session, that we could seriously teach a 5-year-old how to do that.
Yeah.
I swear on my fucking life, I could teach any kid, like, for fuck's sake. We can't do anything unless we know how to embody at a deep soul level. And unless our body is the safest, fucking, most beautiful, magical, pure place for us to be in, there's nothing.
And that's like a huge reason why I was attracted to you, because like, A, you popped up out of the blue, but B, you were talking about being embodied. And I was like, oh, that's something that I've
heard that before.
I was like, I know, like, I've written down in a notebook, like, when I've been journaling, that like probably need to learn how to embody. And then I also had a therapist who said to me, she was like, you are so powerful if you just learn to step into your power. And I was just like, dude, tell me more. Like, what, like, I want to know everything about this. Like, also my vanity was like, I'm powerful, but like, I was just like, no, seriously, like, I'm miserable and I'm just like living the same like rat race existence. I'm in like the fucking hamster wheel every day. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm not furthering myself or my career or anything that I want to do in any way. And you're telling me that all I need to do is step into my power. And I'm just like, well, that's kind of insulting, so because
tell me how.
If I knew how to do that, I totally would. Actually, let's be fair. I'm not sure I would have, like,
until we're ready to quit.
Yeah.
There's something really beautiful about the rock bottom, and that means that you want it bad enough and you're willing to actually lean into the unknown. Tell me what you're most proud of and what like your biggest shift has been from, and it can be some like a couple. Okay, so let's start with the biggest one and then we'll get to the daily ones. But let's start with like, the biggest fucking most mind-blowing thing that you're just like I didn't even think this was possible. Because we hear that every day. Like, I legit thought this was impossible 5 minutes ago, and I just fucking did it like a boss. Like, we hear that all the time. Like, we live in our group is all Wonder Woman miracle makers. But give me one of them. Give me one of the impossibles.
God, there's so many, but like the one that comes to mind immediately, because it's just been this week, is it was just like sharing publicly, like after hiding for so many years, like I would have rather died
Same.
6 weeks ago than like no, I literally, that's the kind of conversation I'd have with like a really close friend over like a glass of wine, and then the next day I'd wake up and feel so fucking ashamed, right?
And be like, hey, that's just between us, right?
Yeah.
I was drunk.
And like always just talking about like, you know, being in therapy and like that being such a big excuse for me, but also being like, I'm being so open, and then actually just realizing that no, I've been hiding so hard, and I've been like enjoying being like, hey, I've like, it's so easy to be like, some fucked up things happened to me in my past, and then you use that as like a huge excuse to not do
like,
the things
I'm
you
the
want to do.
Because you and I both have had trauma, and I thought that I thought, swear to God, I was like, I was the only one who had to go back to a traumatic situation to orgasm. I thought that I was a fucking evil psycho person. So when I open up about that, and then there's been 3 other people immediately that have had the exact same thing. I don't know if they've all commented to you, but that literally went through the same thing, and that's just in our crew. So it's like knowing that you're not the only.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hiding
and it's
for
amazing.
that long.
Hiding for so long, and like talking about orgasms and like sex and everything else. Like I was the biggest like faker, hider. Like I have learned so much tantra and taoism, and like I know all of that.
Isn't that
so
fucking
like
mind-blowing?
yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
always like, I've done so much work. I'm like, consciously
yeah,
and subconsciously, you're a fucking shameful, insecure, like you hate yourself. So how's that working out for you? Do you want to stay conscious, or shall we dive deeper? Isn't that mind-blowing? I know. I did 6 years of fucking healing, and I couldn't meet my basic needs, such as waking in the morning without severe fucking dread and anxiety and sleeping through the night.
Yeah.
And yeast infections, and like just having to totally go to porn to even get off, and thinking I needed to perform to be loved. Like,
oh my God, yeah, that's a huge one. I had such beliefs about like sex being transactional, and I had to like, I was providing a service. God, that sounds hilarious and awful and terrible, but like I
traded it for love. I used to trade it for love. Oh, if you love
I traded
me,
it
then
for safety.
Yes,
like,
that was such a, that sister is like, you're going to say that again, because you're going to, I could cry right now. I feel it through my whole body. That is the one, literally, I'm going to cry. That was the one that freed so many women in the group, because we all felt so unsafe, and we were told that sex is separate from our power, separate from our money, is separate from our creativity. And it's just this healing. I'm covered. Like, I've never even had goosebumps on my shoulders before. That beauty of you breaking through that was so fucking powerful. And it's not separate. It's one. And you used to trade sex for safety, just like I did.
And that was huge to like admit to myself, let alone other people. And after I shared it in the group, I shared it with some of my close friends, and and they were just like, fuck, wow. It opened some really, really amazing, honest conversations in my friendship groups. And well, we saw what happened in your Facebook group. I posted that, and then it was so nice to be vulnerable in that way, and so beautiful to know that like I was going to be witnessed. And I remember at the beginning, I was like, I don't think I'd be emotional about this. And then I was just like, afterwards, I was just like, oh my God, who am I kidding?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to be emotional about this.
This is like the most beautiful, biggest breakthrough ever of your life, that you have had all the yoga training, all the tantric training, all the therapy sessions, and in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Versus a lifetime.
Yeah.
I am just simplifying, and I'm teaching you how. Very simple.
Yeah.
You have another group of women who you're opening up that space, because I don't fucking know why we can't talk about orgasms when everybody has a vagina and we all have sex, but that is directly connected to why, as leaders and coaches, we cannot fully step into our power. And so it is not that I love telling everybody that I used to have to feel like a whore, or that I used to get yeast infections or crazy pain in my vagina.
Yeah.
But this is what, as a leader, I tried to break through every other fucking way. Like you, I tried all of the avoiding, I tried all of the hiding, I tried all of the going up and around and the sideways and the this and the that and the out of body and the numbing and the blaming and the crying and the happy and the starving and I tried every fucking way around it. And I realized that there's only one way, and we have to get to the root. And that is the only fucking way we can dig out the goddamn, infection.
I mean, I did so much learning about Tantra and Taoism, and it just clicked for me like 2 weeks ago that I was just like, oh my God, all of that learning has been funneled towards not my pleasure, but towards the other person's pleasure, because I wanted to be like, yeah, I'm amazing in bed. Like,
yes.
And
I'm such
like,
a sex goddess. Watch me put on
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I'll twerk that shit. God, don't
exactly.
you wish,
but
don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me, as I'm fucking dying inside and faking and like getting a fucking yeast infection? Like, oh yeah, that's the fucking goal.
I know, right? And then suddenly, like, we were doing that healing session, and I was just like, oh my God, this all stems from like a feeling of being unworthy and a feeling of like my safety is not important. And I felt that because of how I grew up, and bless my parents, they couldn't provide like stability and safety for me.
They were on programs, and they gave you the same programs.
Yeah, and they've had their own trauma, and I have a lot of compassion now. I've developed a lot of compassion for my mom, who has suffered a lot in her life, and God, I'm gonna tear up, but that's beautiful, because before I was always just like, like my two main things with my mom were like anger and frustration, and just like blaming all of my parents.
Same.
Outside of that was this like real hurt. Oh, I love your lip gloss.
Oh, girl, you know I gotta do it.
Like this, like blaming, and just like being so angry.
Hatred and anger. I had this fucking rage that I tried to cover up with namaste. I had rage, and that's so beautiful, tearing up, because we're seeing them for the truth. They are just on a program that we were on, and it's just that they are hurt, and that is it. We don't have to go on for an hour. We don't need to fucking talk about it in therapy for 50 years. We need to get to our root, therefore we can break through, and the compassion, like truly love that's what love is, actually, what you're doing now. Truly love, that compassion, that's what love is.
And by healing ourselves, we're healing them.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing that resonated with me through your whole program, was like you teaching us that like you can heal people through being. That was like just like one huge light bulb went off in my brain, and I was just like, right, that's what I want to do. Like, of course I want to make my art and do everything else. When I met you, I was on the fence about even making art. I was like, I feel compelled to make art. Like, I feel like miserable if I don't, miserable if I do. but also like I
That's
couldn't
how
walk
it was with
away from it.
coaching. I was
Yeah.
miserable. It's like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I fucking don't.
Right.
It's the same.
Yeah, in terms of just like making art, I was always like, but it's so vain. And I also had this thing about like wanting to help people and just being like, if I make art, it has to be like in service of someone, the world. Like, and for me, like, it's not good enough just to help one person. I was like, I have to help everyone. It has to like blow like everything out of the water. And then obviously like there's so much pressure there. And I was like, oh, can't even make anything like now. Like I just couldn't come up with the ideas or anything. And now I have this really deep trust that if I'm connected, if I'm aligned, if I'm at this frequency, if I'm healing people just by being, no matter what I make, as long as it is genuine and honest and in alignment with all of that, it's going to have an impact. And that has been so freeing. Like,
and it's already been
oh my
proven
God.
because you're helping
Yeah.
so many people. Like you've gotten so many messages from people, and you never got that before when you were trying to do the perfect, thing. That's how I know that that's true, because the old us. You came to me, and I before these strategies were saving. I am trying to save. I'm fucking killing myself. I remember even we were talking about family, and I was like, well, quit fucking doing it. Why are, like, I used to give money and stay up all night, and it's like, well, bitch, quit fucking doing it. It's not their fault. You're the one doing it. And then, like, we can't lift the frequency of Mother Earth unless we are being it. And so you've totally, like, you've gotten that. Like, it's a breath to me. I'm like, it's like the women come in and they like don't know how to breathe, and then I'm not breathing for them. I'm like, come on. And like, I witnessed the moment that you were like, and you just fucking did it. And then that shit has sent shockwaves, because the proof is that you are already doing it. You are already healing Mother Earth and lifting the frequency by being. You're not saving anyone. Your energy is through the roof. Your inspiration is through the roof. Like your voice, your body, like there's not one part. I always say, what does the sun just touch two flowers? The sun shines everywhere. And when we breathe that breath in, and it's life, and the sun shines everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking proud of you. It's words can't even explain.
I'm so proud of myself. Like I never finished anything. Like I'm so happy that I finished this program, and I know so deep down that this is just a lifestyle now and that it just keeps going. But I literally had no idea of like any impact of like my actions. Like I used to, completely spend so much time obsessing about like anything that I could have possibly done or said that would have like a negative impact. But like I never gave any thought to any of my actions having a positive impact. And then it was Emily in the group who reached out to me first. And she was just like, dude, your live like really just rocked me. And she was just like, it like was so inspiring. And like the fact that you've been encouraging me to like celebrate and own like all of my wins has been like huge. And I was just like, oh,
I wasn't trying and I did it. What the fuck, right? Before, like, try harder, do more. And then I'm like, quit fucking doing, just fucking be. And I teach you how. And then you're like, Lani, that really fucking worked. Like, I didn't have to save anybody. My neck didn't go out. I didn't get a breakout. My stomach wasn't bloated. I didn't get like sick. I didn't have a fight. Like, I didn't lose anything. I actually healed. Like, your frequency jumped so high. So you did it by being it. You do it by being it. You are a leader. You are a healer. This is your essence. And this is why I do what I do because I feel like my gift is I have a radar. I'm like, where are the ones that can go out and share this, because I'm not fucking standing for any more fucking bullshit of women who want to fucking die because they're disgusted by their own vaginas. I'm not going to fucking stand for that anymore, because I used to be that woman and try and save everybody, and I learned how to have this just in front of my eyes so fast always happen. It's like, I feel like it's in time lapse, it's so fast. Like, I watched you fucking bloom like that fast. And then you doing it, like, it's just, it's life. It's so fucking beautiful. And I'm so grateful for you and so fucking proud of you. You are the uncommon among the uncommon, and you've touched my soul forever. And I know that we'll be connected at a soul level, but it's just so brave of you to choose something different than what our parents were doing.
Yeah. Thank you for being the light.
I love you so much.
I love you so much too.
Anything else?
I don't even know. I was like, I came into this conversation just being like, oh my God, I don't even, like, it's been such a trip. Like, how am I even going to talk about it? I can't remember anything that I've like I was just like, I can't remember what I was like 6 weeks ago. How am I going to talk about that? But
because
I was a miserable wacky bitch.
Miserable wacky bitch. Same. I was just telling Katie, I was like, it is a fact that I was the girl that I hated. I was that insecure, annoying, like, I would only go out to get attention from a guy. I would only go out to do this and that. And like, I was just trying to show off. I was the person that I never wanted to be around. I was annoying as fuck and angry. And that's all my clients are. We have to fucking admit, we were like annoying. And then we step into this leader role, and it's like, wow, it's just so mind blowing that it's learned, and with the drive, right? So it's like you have this like beautiful gift, but you didn't have the strategies or the belief. And so you reached out to me because you created a belief. Okay, maybe this can happen. And then I provide the strategies, and that's literally all that it is. It's not complicated. It's not crazy. It's not hard. And yeah, I know it's so funny to try and go back and remember. And it was that the standards are so high now in such a short time. That's why I'm like, do not say that you're so far behind. Do not say it takes 10 years. Like, what have you learned from that about time, about how something shifts and comes about and heals?
Just happens like that when you just decide. You're just like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to go through it. And then I've done it. Yeah.
No fucking drama. It doesn't take 10 years. I'm always like, that's a stupid fucking belief. Like, right? And can you even fathom that when you came in, when I was like, it's going to be fast. It's going to be fast.
No, I was literally just like, I've been in therapy for like 10 years. And now I've just spent like, just before we spoke, I spent like 4 days crying and like in hysterics about all this like absolute rubbish. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like none of that shit. Like I'm just like, what was I even thinking?
We laugh hyster. Isn't it so funny now how hilarious the old us was? I feel like there should be like a Saturday Night Live character of the old Lani, because I was such a fucking psycho. And my neck would go out over like the freaking tiniest things I would hold on to. And it's like, it's comical what I would lose my shit over and take personal, and what excuses I gave. I gave every damn excuse in the book why I couldn't do it, girl. Was not my fault. Tell you whose fault it is, though. You got 5 days, because I'll fucking give it to you and tell you everybody that ruined my life, because it wasn't my fault. And it's comical. That's why, like, we do obviously feel and cry and go deep, and it's like, to the root, but it's so fun and funny, because we see it's such a trip. We see how comical it is.
Yeah, honestly, like I think I spent like 10 years just being like, if only my mum would understand and she'd apologize. And I'm like, if she even apologized, I wouldn't have known what to do with it. Like, I would have just been like, it wasn't good enough.
Okay, now my dad has to apologize.
enough.
Yeah, you didn't mean it though, and your shirt was blue, so I can't make the apology. Totally. There was always another excuse and a reason. And it's like so fun. We have so much fun, and we have so many sisters doing the same thing. And how fucking awesome is it to be just surrounded by women who are not making excuses, who do what, like, they're in it, balls deep, you know, facing the shit, going into the darkness, pulling it into the light. It's like, fuck, you know, too. You're like, I can't have an excuse. This bitch just fucking did it. 3, 2, 1. Like, okay. Isn't that how the human mind works? Like, well, and they did it.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that, like, you're the first person who hasn't just been like, there, okay. That must have been so hard, and like, just like,
I loved when you said that in the video. You're like, Lani's the first one that wasn't like, oh, I'm so sorry. That must have been so hard.
So hard, yeah. And you're just like, and then immediately you're just like, oh my God, yes, it was. Like, you can be having the most sort of like straight up conversation, and as soon as somebody goes, oh my God, that must have been so hard, and gives you some sympathy, you're just like bawling your eyes out, and then you're like,
for me.
Yeah, for me. And then like everything becomes this huge drama, and you're just like,
the story, the snowball turned into the fucking avalanche that's now just like demolishing cities and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
I always say, like, I ain't gonna fucking treat your ego special.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what it is. Like, it's never worked for me, and it's never worked for a client. So like, never.
Mm-hmm. So and that funny. Was a really important lesson for me. Intimidating as fuck to begin with, because I was just like, oh my God, but like, you know, for me, and so much has happened to me, and like, I bet none of these other women have like gone through any of the trauma that I've been through. And then you're
literally
just like,
word for word ego, because how many people, I just went in the group and I think I saw that 5 times, that the ego is like, right? It's everybody's ego. You cannot have an ego without it saying that. So it's word for word ego.
Exactly. And you're just like, actually, like, Lani just keeps saying the same thing over and over again about just being like, everybody feels that way.
Whereas the ego has resistance. You cannot break through without the ego's resistance. You know how. I told you how.
Yeah, exactly.
How, girl.
And it's not special. And as soon as I was like, oh, this is not special, I was suddenly just like, okay, fine. I can deal with this. This is like universal. And that's actually what helped me go public about everything, because I was just like, I think I even said it in my video. I was like, I know this is like universal as fuck. So I'm like,
not the only one. Everyone's feeling this way too, but I'm going to be like, you know, one of the leaders who actually talks about it, because that's the problem. The problem isn't that our problem is special. Our problem is that everyone's hiding and no one's talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much, sister. I fucking love you, and I can't wait to hug you in real life and have our hearts touch. I love you so much. Thank you. God.
I just noticed we were like, it's going to be 20 minutes.
It's 1:11. My recording says 1:11, and my time was 2:11, obviously, of course, because it's always love, because that's one of my loves from the universe, of course. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for the last 6 weeks plus. It's been really special. Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon, baby girl. Love you so much.
Love you so much too.
Okay, bye, sis. Mwah.
Bye. Bye. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. How amazing and inspiring was that? Like, for sure, you cried and had goosebumps like me. This just is what I live. This is literally what I live for. This is life. This is breath. Gone are the days where we hide and suffer alone and pretend like we are weak and pretend like we're the only one with these problems. If you are a woman You were given the program, I'm not enough. You were given shame connected to your sexuality and to your vagina and to yoni and to pleasure. It has nothing to do with being physically or sexually abused. I have plenty of women who haven't had either, and they still have the same program that I had, the same programs that every client comes to me with. This is directly connected to embodying. You cannot embody while you have shame and fear running through your body. You cannot step into your power if you cannot embody. And you can never, ever be the leader that you know deep in your fucking bones and soul that you were created and put here to be. So goddamn, we got to fix this from the beginning. You can't start at the finish line, baby girl. You have to learn how to embody. It's not hard. It doesn't take a long time. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's healing. It is life. And if you are ready to learn how to embody, how to step in your power, and how to be the leader that has it all and actually heal the world and lift the frequency of Mother Earth by being, then I am your woman. Reach out now. Just go to the link, iam.laninalu.com/strategy. Me and my clients are changing the world. If you're ready to do this too, then you are my woman. Have an amazing day. Share this forward. I love you. Comment. Again, my goal is to help 1 million women by the end of the year. So please send this out to other leaders and coaches that you know are suffering and faking and dying inside, but their purpose and they were put here to heal the earth. They need to hear this. All right. I love you. Speak next Monday. Yee.